Take it. You can take it over.
Oh, no. Gonna prepare to do the motion.
Excellent.
I love this topic.
Wade, we're live on YouTube. You're welcome to start.
Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. This is the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for the Village of Chagrin Falls for March 29, 2021. This is actually our March meeting that just got moved back a week for the Village of Chagrin Falls spring break. So thank you for your patience, and here we are. My name is Wade Frick. I'm the chair of the BZA. Thank you all for joining us out there in virtual land. We have one item on our agenda, and since we do create a record that is put into minutes, I will go through the normal rigmarole, although I believe everyone on this, at least the presenters, are aware of the process. But in case we have citizens who are joining us who haven't not used to this, what we will do is I will ask Rob for a breakdown of how it is we got to be here for the item on our agenda. I'll ask for a presentation on behalf of the applicant. The board will ask questions of the applicant, and then we'll turn it, Christy will go open mic night. We'll open up the microphone for anyone out there in virtual land who would like to speak either in favor of or in opposition to the proposal before us. So we will make sure everyone who's joining us gets to speak. We do create a written record, so if you could clearly state your name and where you live, that would be helpful for our minutes. And with that, we will again thank you for joining us and make sure that we get through our single item here in an orderly way and give everyone a chance to talk. So that being said, the first item, Rob, I will ask for your background, and you might want to keep it to 100 pages or less of background on this one, Rob. We certainly
background on the retaining wall. That's all.
Yes,
Wait,
right.
wait, before we get this,
Yes.
wait, before we get there, we have minutes to approve.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Right.
Andrew. Thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry. I totally forgot. Yes. We do have an item, procedural item, or administrative item, I should say, approval of the minutes for the meeting from August 18, 2020. I reviewed and made a few changes. I didn't receive any other changes. So with that, I would ask that there be a motion to approve the minutes of August 18, and then we'll take a second before we vote on it. So is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Lisa Kramer.
Second.
Move. Andrew, second. Thank you. Rob, roll.
Rocky,
Aye.
Freshman Johnson,
Aye.
Frick,
Aye.
Holdren,
Aye.
and Kramer.
Aye.
Great. Second, we have the minutes of September 15, 2020 to approve. Is there a motion?
So move.
So move.
Lisa Kramer, thank you. Andrew, your second?
Sure.
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought I heard you say it. So we'll do the same thing. Rob, roll, please.
Freshman Johnson,
Aye.
Frick,
Aye.
Holdren,
Aye.
Kramer,
Aye.
Rocky.
Aye.
Okay, great. Andrew, thanks for reminding me. So yeah, we do have that item and we've completed it. So now we are to Rob's giving the procedural background and the retaining wall for the River House Brick House partners, and then we'll have the witnesses sworn before we take testimony. So Rob, I'll turn it to you.
Thank you, Wade. The matter before us tonight is from Brick House Partners regarding the River House development located on Cleveland Street. This is permanent parcel number 931-17-003, which is located in the residential mixed-use zoning district. The applicant had received previous approval for the installation of a retaining wall on the south border of the property, abutting the property of the Millers. At the September 15th, 2020 Board of Zoning Appeals meeting, a variance was granted. The variance of 6 feet was granted to allow the retaining wall to be located right on the property line between the Brick House development and the Miller property, with comments made suggesting that an easement be obtained with the Millers for disruption over the property line on their property. Just subsequent to that meeting, I received a copy of an easement agreement that would extend 7 feet over the property line and would cover the entire length of the project area. That would include everything from construction, maintenance, repair, replacement, and anything involving the retaining wall that could be done within that 7-foot wide easement area. Additional site permits were granted for the project. All the engineering reviews were completed, geotechnical reviews are completed, and site permit was issued several weeks ago to begin work on the site. I received plans on February 25th for a proposed change order in the retaining wall. Originally, the retaining wall that was proposed consisted of a section that was constructed of block material, and then it transitioned to precast concrete sections that were going to be installed vertically along the section that was right against the property line. Through further engineering review by the developer, they said they wanted to change the precast sections of the wall to the block style wall so that it would all be uniform and in line, the same material, same facing. And by doing that, the thickness of the wall would extend over the property line and need approximate 2 to 3 foot. Let me see here. Let me make sure I have the right numbers here. The total disruption of the wall, including the base support, would extend 5 feet over the property line. And that would be backed up. That's just the base of the wall. It's actually narrower where the top of the wall would actually, where the grade would be restored on the top part of the Miller property. So with that new review, the retaining wall would not change in height at all, but it does change in location as far as the disruption of the back part of the wall. So in reviewing our zoning code, any retaining wall has to be set back from a property line a minimum of 3 feet plus 1 foot for every foot of wall height greater than 3 foot. This is a 6-foot wall still, so it would require a 6-foot setback. With the new construction of the wall extending 5 feet over the property line, they would require a variance of 11 feet to the code section. And I think the developer can provide a better description of what they're proposing. I do have their plans ready to show. Also, I asked Tim Lannon to be present tonight to talk about the engineering aspects of this proposed change. And Harry's here as well if need be.
Rob, how does the variance compare to the one we've already granted?
The one you already granted was 6 feet because the code requirement was for a 6-foot high wall is 3 foot minimum plus 1 foot for every additional height above 3 foot of wall. So that would be 6 foot required, and the wall was put right on the property line. So a 6-foot a variance was granted back in September, and now you would need a variance for an additional 5 feet to extend that wall over the property line.
And is it our understanding it's still within the easement?
Yes, I did verify that. I looked at the measurements, and there's a 7-foot easement. The area of disturbance is right in that 5-foot area, so it is well within the easement area. I also spoke with Joe Miller directly, the property owner. I couldn't share his email confirmation because he could not be here tonight, but I can state to the board, I talked with him about this. He said he has reviewed this, and he said as long as it's within the easement, that he is approving of the proposed change.
Rob, when you talk about the 5 foot, so you say that it's 5 foot over the property line at the base, and then does it angle back somehow that it?
Yeah, and there's the developer can probably speak more to it.
Okay.
You can see a little bit here on these schematics. You'll see this is the way that the wall is constructed. So you have the top piece where where the dirt and everything will come right up to the top facing, but yet you have several feet of wall that goes beyond, that gives it the mass and the support to give it its long-term strength. And that includes the mass extenders and the overall stone base. So this says 7 feet, but that 7 feet is that foot of stone base that's underneath the wall. So when you look at the actual area of the wall that extends over the line, this is what we're looking at. This is showing the entire thickness of the wall and the easement area. So
Okay.
the easement area is the shade, is the hashed out area, which is the 7 foot
Right.
area.
Hey, Rob, I got a drawing with, it looks like it's marked up and it shows the property line and the 7 foot easement. I don't know if you have that.
I do have several different documents here. Let me see what. Couple different ones here to show, so give me a minute. here.
This is the
Jim-
one that I have. I think it's pretty helpful to show where the property line and the easement are.
Yes, yeah, let me find where that is.
You're talking about the stone strong wall plan and elevation?
This area right here is probably what you're looking at.
Yes. Yep.
So this shows property line, and it shows the 7 foot easement area. And this shows, so 5 foot 6, 7, so that's roughly 6 feet, 5.5 feet to the back of the mass extender. And that's right near in that area.
What's the mass extender made out of?
I am not completely sure. I'm sure it's a stone product. I think the developer can probably
Okay,
answer that further detail. I did review that, but I can't remember.
okay.
Okay, we done with questions for now for Rob? Do we turn to the applicant?
Mhm.
Okay, who will be presenting on behalf of the application?
If I'm not mistaken, that would be Alexandra, and I will promote Alexandra to a panelist to join the conversation.
Okay. Hi, good evening, everyone.
Hi, Alexandra. Dale, can you please swear in Alexandra before we begin?
Sure. Alexander, can you raise your right hand for me? We need to see you on the screen. We lost you somehow.
Right there.
Do you see me now?
Okay. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you'll give to the Board of Zoning Appeals will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay, the floor is yours, Alexandra.
Thank you. I have one more colleague of mine, Les, if you can let him in as well. He is construction manager on the project.
I'll do so now.
Thank you.
Dale, should we swear him in as well, or you want to wait?
Sure. Yeah, let's swear him in.
Okay,
Okay.
and that is Les.
Was it Les Yeager?
Yes.
Okay. Les, can you raise your right hand for me? And do you solemnly swear the testimony you'll give to the Board of Zoning Appeals will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, turn it over to you on behalf of the applicants. Whoever wants to speak, please go ahead.
Yeah, I will start. Thank you for meeting tonight. So we have met last in September to approve the variance for the retaining wall, as Rob mentioned. And a portion of that retaining wall that was on the property line was designed to be a concrete wall. And with further detailing and discussions with the whole team, with the construction team, Les here, and the subcontractor for the site for the site work. We have explored other opportunities for that wall so that we can make a more like cohesive appeal and structure. And the only like reasonable solution is to extend the same stones all the way to the whole length of the wall. And that required a little bit a wider base because of the structure of the wall. It's not poured concrete anymore, it's stone. And you can see how it stacks at the base. There are bigger blocks, and then when they go up, they become little more narrow blocks. That's why at the bottom of the wall, the stones go about 5 to 6 feet within the property of the Millers, but within the easement that we have with them. And then as it goes up at the top of the wall, it's approximately about like 2 feet that it goes into the property line. All that, we have explored this opportunity for a few reasons. The first reason was the maintenance. And I mean, let me start. Maybe the first reason was the constructability of the whole wall. When we have one consistent wall, it's much better from the construction point of view, and Les can talk about this more, but it's one structure. So we continue the whole wall as one structure. Then aesthetically as well, we don't separate and don't have two different appeals from the side of the homeowners. And also from a maintenance point of view, the stone wall basically doesn't need any maintenance. And once that's installed, it is much more stable and doesn't need any maintenance. And based on all of the reports and surveys that we have come to realize that that's the better solution. After that, we had the easement agreement with the Miller. We have discussed this option with him, and he had agreed that that's a better solution, and agreed that the structure could be with that section of the wall on his property within the easement that we have agreed with him. And the easement reads that way, that we can put a structure within that easement. So nothing is going to happen beyond the 7-foot easement. No, the limits of disturbance are there. So his property beyond the 7 feet is going to remain undisturbed. That is the summary of the request that we have right now to you today.
Okay. Before, any questions for Alexandra before, do you want Les to speak as well, or is Les
I've got
just
a
here for
question.
questions? Yeah. Please.
If two of your major concerns were, ease of construction and uniformability of the wall, why not go with a poured concrete wall all the way along for the entire wall? Why not do the whole thing in a poured concrete wall instead of going with the locking block option?
Because of the aesthetical appeal and the requirements that were discussed with the architects and the architectural review board, it's just the whole area there has stones on the bridge. There are stone blocks, and we wanted to mimic that feel so that we don't have a full concrete wall that is facing the residences. It is really like mainly it's the design appeal that triggered us to start thinking about the stone. And then it is really a much more stable wall than a concrete wall that does not require maintenance. So these are very strong arguments that led us to explore that.
What exactly would be the maintenance on a concrete wall versus a locking block wall?
Les, you can help me with that here because you have more experience in construction. I can add some things, but if you can help me with that, I'll appreciate it. Mm.
Well, one of the biggest things you have when you have a poured concrete wall is you have marks where you had the forms placed in there. So there's penetrations all the way through that wall that you end up having to patch with some type of a patching material. So you have a maintenance issue with making sure that those can remain filled having to go back through and paint the wall. With this cast wall system, you're getting away from all of that. The blocks are all uniform in size. They're all uniform in look. It can be done and you can go through and you could make it a lot easier to maintain that area with very little difficulty. The poured wall is a little bit more subject to a freeze-thaw cycle also, with water being potentially trapped behind that wall.
Other questions for?
Yeah, so if you're clearly looking at the aesthetics of it, I mean, you get some rust and some pock marks from where the wires hold the forms together. Why not just put a cultured stone over the outside of it?
But you'd still have the same issue with a cultured stone. You still have to have some type of an anchoring system into that face of that wall, which would then have to have the stone attached to that. So you do have that potentiality for those stones to pop.
Other
I've got nothing
questions?
else on that.
Okay, other questions from other members of the board? To the applicant, Alexandra, is that the extent of your presentation? Is there anything else? Is Tim Lannon, are you available to talk, answer any questions we have? But I guess first, Alexandra, did you have anything else? Anything else that you wanted to present?
No, I don't have anything else. We have sent a while ago both options to Tim Lennon as well. So he had seen and reviewed those. So if he's here, he can speak to that. But no, I don't have any other comments. Thank you.
Les,
Tim is
anything?
here. Tim Lannon is here and has been promoted to a panelist to join the conversation. Looks like he's
Yeah.
coming online.
Okay, great. Before, as we wait for Tim, Les, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
There was a question earlier in regards to the construction of the blocks for this. These are all precast block units. The mass extenders, which helps to stabilize the entire form, is once these precast blocks are set in place, they are filled with concrete to create the mass extender for the wall.
Oh, okay.
Maybe this, some of what I'm sharing here shows what this looks
Yeah,
like.
yeah. I see
If this is correct, Les and Alexander, let me know if there's anything we changed, but this is,
No, that is correct.
Yep.
okay. And then,
Okay. Tim, are you there? Tim Lannon, are you on?
I'm here.
Dale, do you need to swear Tim in?
Probably. Tim, why don't you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you give to the Board of Zoning Appeals will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thanks.
Tim, tell us about your involvement with this project and where you stand on the wall.
Well, I've been reviewing it on behalf of the village for the year and a half that the proposals have been presented. There's been a retaining wall throughout all of the different submittals. As you know, there was a block wall and a partial section of concrete wall initially because of the zero setback initially presented. And now there's the block wall to be continuous throughout the project.
And is it, you have to speak engineer for dummies for me. Do you prefer one style of wall over the other? Where did you come out on this particular, the block wall?
In this case, I mean, we've built both types around the village, for the village. Block wall is, I mean, in my mind, they're equal in this regard.
Okay.
I mean, structurally, et cetera, to support the hillside, this is perfectly acceptable to the village. That's my opinion.
Okay. As was the cement wall.
Correct.
Tim, can you repeat that last question? You broke up on me, sorry. Or repeat that last answer. You said something was better, but this is suitable for use in the village?
No, I said that these are equal in this regard. We've built both types and it, depending on situations. And in this case, I'd consider them equal. So this one has a shallower foundation. I won't even get into aesthetics, but structurally, I find this acceptable.
Okay.
And is the drainage suitable? The 6-inch perforated pipe, is that a suitable thing for a wall of this length?
Yeah, that's fine. And, a block wall would let any excess water bleed through the wall if it had to as well.
Yeah.
Where a
That's
concrete
like
wall is
usually,
impervious.
from everything I know about retaining walls, which is very little, it's usually water that is the end of them.
So I'm just making sure I'm looking at this correctly. The part that's going beyond the 6 foot from the property line that we see here, which is really just the aggregate backfill in the picture, really, and some of the mass extender.
No, there's going to be,
Not
it
the
looks
mass
like,
extender, sorry. Go ahead. I don't know who was answering.
It looks like
then
Andrew,
aggregate backfill.
No, so go to so to me, property line, we gave them a 6 foot extension. Yep, 6 feet. We already gave them, so about there. So the only part that's any different is this section over here, and that's not even above ground.
No.
No.
We gave them a variance to allow them to build it on the property line.
Right.
Oh, okay, I see, to the left over there.
Yeah, so everything in this image, everything that you see on the right-hand side is going to be
Okay.
A, not on their property, and B, they need a variance now for it.
And
Yeah.
this picture is a vertical slice or a top-down look, which way is it?
Up here?
looking from the side.
Down. It's
Yeah, this is a
yeah,
cross-side view.
It's a cross view, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
That's correct.
yes.
Okay. So my point is, much of this 7 feet is going to be covered by brush and other backfill landscaping. If you go back to the rendering, I guess I'm unclear of where the retaining wall is starting versus where it was planned to be before. Are you really adding 7 more feet of space here because you realize the driveway is too small? And I'm not clear on that.
Yeah, we're not changing where the face of the wall is gonna be in regards to the driveway. So wherever it was before, we place it on the same place, like this first vertical blue line. We place it there, and then backwards we put the wall. Just the stone wall is thicker than the concrete wall, and that's why it goes in the foundation mainly beyond the property line into the easement.
I think I can illustrate that. So before, the initial plan called for a precast section because the easement was not in place at that time. So the previous wall was precast sections somewhat in this sort of fashion, right up against the property line, right where the current wall, the face of the current wall is. And now with that change, that wall facing will still be in the same place. It'll just have more mass behind it. This area here will now be behind that same.
Mass visible?
No,
that'd be
everything, the
covered.
landscaping is gonna cover that.
It's all underground mostly.
Yes.
So will that put this project within 1 foot of the easement? In other words, if you're adding on another 5 feet or so,
Yeah, it'll put it with about 1 foot from the easement, and that includes the disturbance area, which is this section here.
Mhm.
So it's actually going to be a little less than the easement width.
And that's also only where we have this base stones, and they're at a few locations.
mhm.
Yeah, this is where the hill continues. And the greenery.
In the original wall, I mean, the reason you got the easement, because the original wall, you needed that to construct it. So you're going into the easement to construct the original wall. Now you're still going into the easement the same distance, or maybe a little more, a little less, but you're just leaving stone there instead of, you know,
Correct.
whatever you were going to backfill it with. So, I mean, the appearance when it's said and done, it's just, it's going to look the same. It's just going to be nicer if you like this look. But
Yeah,
it's not going to really. Yeah.
Right.
yeah,
Right, and
Yeah,
of course, if we recall, the previous easement required this space because we need the room in the driveway to make sure that they have appropriate access. So we had to discuss them moving the wall, and of course, that starts to, move everything. So we understand the domino effect, that it's not feasibly option to move the location of where this has to start. So they're minimizing that ability by doing this. And so the rendering that we see is still accurate in the look of how it's going to be.
yeah.
Okay.
Unless I misunderstood what Tim said, it strikes me that this is not more engineeringly significant than the precast slab. I mean, it seems to be taking much more substance into the hill. But did I mishear you, Tim? Or this is from your standpoint, this provides no further protection for the wall, for the hillside than the previously approved plan?
Correct.
So this is strictly related to aesthetics, maintenance, and the preferred structure of the builder. It's not a structurally better retaining wall.
Right.
I mean, more stable or anything like that.
I mean, I think both are gonna, they're engineered to protect the slope. It's down the road, the maintenance
Yeah.
and how the concrete wall is gonna perform as opposed to the stones.
And did ARB weigh in on a preference?
They did not, we didn't take it to ABR because there was no material change to the appearance of the wall. The wall height, the wall facing was still the same. So from the aesthetic perspective, we felt it didn't need to go back to ABR.
ABR, I'm sorry, still.
And they don't
ARB.
weigh in on construction. They don't weigh in on construction methods.
Okay. I just was wondering because the aesthetics are changing, right? But,
I
okay,
mean, yeah, the first portion of the wall is stone, so we continue it until the end. So
Right.
what you saw on the image is still the stone that's at the beginning of the project of the driveway.
remind me how far that was proposed to go back before the concrete started.
Rob, you can help me here, but I think the whole wall, the length of the whole wall is approximately 200 feet, and that portion was about 75 feet.
Rob, can you bring back the picture that shows the finished product with the landscaping on top?
The rendering?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, the picture, yeah, hold on.
So can you describe on this rendering where 75 feet is?
It's somewhere after the white car.
Okay. All right.
It's between residences 5 and 6 on the plan. So it's
Okay.
really further back.
Gotcha. Okay. Questions from the board? We've got lots of people that have commented on behalf of the application and answer some questions, but I want to make sure everyone gets their questions answered. Okay, we're good. Christy, can you see if anybody is in the crowd, in the audience waiting to speak, please?
Yes, we have one member of the public in attendance by the name of David Herdman. David, if you would like to speak for or against the project, please use your raise the hand function in Zoom. to let us know you'd like to speak. Wait, I don't see anything yet. I'll keep an eye out. If David raises his hand, I will let you know.
Okay. And there's nobody else waiting?
No, sir.
Okay, so David, if you hear us, a few more seconds and then we'll assume you wish not to speak. Board, while we're waiting, final time for the audience participation, if any. Is there any other question of anyone who's spoken thus far? All right, Christy, we'll circle back one more time. No one wishing to participate?
That's correct.
All right, I think we're up to that point in time when we take a motion in the affirmative and then we'll vote aye or nay to that. Is someone doing the motion?
Oh, I can. Do you want me to? Got it.
Please, Rachel. You're wonderful. Thank you.
I know. Okay. I would like to. I was ready. Just waiting. Okay. I'd like to make a motion in regards. Sorry, let me get the official application here. All right. I'd like to make a motion on behalf of River House Brickhouse Partners submitting a variance to their parcel located on Cleveland Street, which is a residential development involving a variance to section 1148.07C, which requires all retaining walls to be 3 feet away from a property line and 1 foot in addition for every foot over 3 feet. Since this wall is going to be 6 feet tall, the wall would normally have to be 6 feet away from the property line. In regards to where this retaining wall needs to be in order to allow for appropriate traffic in and out of this property site, the front facing part of the retaining wall must be on the property line. The engineering for this proposed retaining wall then goes 7 feet beyond the property line into an approved and executed easement for access rights to this owner, which would be then requesting essentially a 13-foot variance for this retaining wall. That number's right? 13 feet? Okay.
I think it's 11-foot
It's 11.
variance.
How is it 11 foot if it needs to be 6 and then they go 7 feet into the thing? That's why I didn't understand.
No,
why.
7 feet is the variance, is the easement. 7 feet is the easement.
No,
Yeah.
it normally would be 6 feet and that would be on the property line. It has to be 6 feet according to 1148.07.
Right.
And I think it goes,
It would have
Rob,
to
you
be
can
6
answer
feet
this.
away, so 6 feet plus, it would be no greater than 12 feet, including the decimal point here, the 0.67.
It's 11 something, yeah.
Yeah, 11.67.
Okay, so you're not counting that 2.83 feet?
No, because the wall itself, this is gravel base and I can only count a structure. So the structure would be the back of the mass extender, which is 5.67. It was measured out at 5 foot before, but it's with this more precise dimension, 5.67 to be correct. So
Okay, so the variance will be the 6 feet plus the 5.6 feet, so 11.67 feet to be exact.
yes.
Okay. As discussed previously, the property cannot be built without the location of the retaining wall in this exact location. And then there's several review sessions with many details, discuss the domino effect of moving the wall, moving the driveway, moving the units. And this is the only obvious feasible way to actually structure the property with allowable traffic as well as structurally engineering to protect the hillside at this location. The variance may seem substantial, but the builder has executed and an easement with the property owner, and the property owner has been working with this owner. The the property owner next to this property has been working together in partnership to make sure that, everybody's in agreement of the location. In addition, the look and feel of the wall will be no different than the previous variance granted, but the under earth and foundation of this retaining wall is the part that's going to be used in the variance. So the aesthetic look and feel and the impact on the completed product will actually have no further impact than what was already approved in previous variances. The essential character of the neighborhood would be supported because of the design integrity of the wall, matching with more of the architectural style, as well as a better aesthetic. It's an upgrade to the look and feel rather than poured concrete. It's now block stone looking finish. The variance would not adversely affect any delivered governmental services. In fact, it keeps the driveway in a place and space so that emergency vehicles can get in and out, even with cars parked. The property owner has been working on this retaining wall. There's been a retaining wall planned in the entire project. It's just until they got further and further down of engineering and design plans and the easement situation and everything else they had to figure out. They were not aware of this issue until they worked further along in the progress. And there's the spirit and intent behind the zoning code would be observed if supported, because without this variance granted, they essentially have to go back once again to either the poured concrete, which would essentially have the same impact aesthetically to this property on a finished product. So there's no value in doing that besides looking uglier and not being and being just as I just used that word again, Wade, engineeringly complete. The variance was not based on self-created circumstances, and they've worked hard to figure out best solution for this retaining wall. And for those reasons, this variance is submitted for approval.
Is there a Lisa Kramer second?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. Rob, roll.
Rick,
I vote aye for all the reasons stated in the motion.
Holdren,
I too vote aye for all the reasons stated in the motion.
Kramer,
I vote aye for all the reasons stated. I think the applicant is forward thinking and having gotten an easement because they're obviously in need of using it to make this project more aesthetic and more structurally efficient for the project. So I vote aye.
Rocky,
I think that this variance is based on circumstances that are self-created. We gave them a variance to build a retaining wall. They just don't like the way it looks. I also think that this is feasible in any other ways because they already have a variance to build a retaining wall. And I would like to also, Matt, add that council reviewed the previous decision on BZA to take a look at this decision, and we gave them the option to either go out and get an easement or buy the piece of property, or council was going to hear it. So they decided to get the easement. And for all of those reasons, I'm going to vote no.
Freshman Johnson,
I vote aye for the reasons stated in the motion.
Okay, so to the applicant, you probably are well aware of the process at this point. 15 days, council has 15 days for 3 members of council petition to hear this. And there's a 4-to-1 vote with the 1 being member of council. So who knows whether that'll happen or not, but if 15 days passes without an appeal, your variance will be granted. And if not, you'll be getting notice. Well, you'll be getting notice either way from Rob about next steps. So 15 days will be the benchmark as to whether you'll be appealed to council or whether you'll have your variance.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yes, thank you.
thank you. Thanks for the presentation. Is there anybody else to come before us or any other issue coming before BZA tonight?
no.
All right. With that, I believe we are adjourned.
Aye.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good night.